It's April 2nd. It's April 2nd. It was a good day. It was a good day. Worked. It's about 6:15. I'm in a shower right now. It's funny. It's just funny. So I think I might have mentioned it, that I can tell when people listen, right? I think we all can. But specifically to the work that I do, I can tell when a client listens. Because they usually come back eagerly, you know, waiting to tell me how it went. And even when they're eagerly wanting to share with me how it didn't go well, I can tell why it didn't go well. Because they're not, you know, following through. They're not following through for whatever reason, which is fine. That's exactly where they need to be. I shared my video with a new client. It just came out because, you know, I forget that I'm a helper sometimes. And she's the one that told me, she's like, that's, what did she tell me? She's like, oh. I apologized, and I had told her, I'm sorry for what you shared. It emailed me the other day, and I told her, I was like, remembering the quote, right, from Mr. Rogers, look for the helpers. And then in the following session, she's just like, that's why I sent you an email, because I'm a helper. I'm like, oh snap, that's right, I'm a helper. And I'm like, I'm so, and I apologized the following week. I'm like, I forget. Sometimes I forget that I'm a helper. And she's like, that's what makes you a good therapist, she said. Because you're not in it for the praise or acknowledgement, right? So with this particular client I shared, it came out in conversation. And she was worried about the therapeutic relationship. I said, I'm okay with continuing to work. You know, you're not the first person who knows about my story. It just happened to come out at this time. I'm okay with going, you know, it's like I'm giving you a tool. It's your choice whether or not you use it. And I think she was worried that the therapeutic relationship would end. I said, no, I know what I'm doing. I told her. So we had, today was the session after I had shared the information. And we were going to, you know, I was reassuring her. I said, everything's gonna, you know, keep moving forward. I know how to use information in a way that's an intervention. Like, I know how to, and I showed her, I said, just what you've shared thus far, right? And she was really debriefing on my videos. That's what she wanted to do. I said, fine, just know that this hour is for you, but I will honor what how you're wanting to utilize this time. And so she was a little confused when I had mentioned that we can use these videos, my videos of my story, as practice during the week. So I explained to her, I said, I warned you that these videos would trigger you. Oh, that's right, I did in the beginning. And she's just like, well, can you prepare me? I said, no, I can't, because I don't know all of your stories. Only you will know what triggers you. But you will be triggered. Why? Because by default, we trigger one another. Purposefully, right? And so, sure enough, she's like, I've made notes. I said, okay, go, shoot. She's going down. And I appreciate her. I mean, she's freaking intelligent. Freaking intelligent. She is so powerful. I don't think she knows it. Maybe she does. She does. She knows it. She totally knows it. She knows it. And it's a matter of owning it. I mean, maybe she does. I don't know. We're working on that, right? Owning who she is. Unconditional love. But that's what she is. She's unconditional love. Waiting to expand, really. So through this process, able to identify triggers, right? Process relationships that she's had in the past. Like, it all just came out. And I explained to her, I said, how can I sit here on this other side and pretend like I know all of the answers when you're the one that is living your life? You're the expert of your life. I'm not going to sit here and pretend. And we were talking about the power dynamics. How she's had experiences with other therapists where they're wanting her to expose herself, share details, right? Because in essence, as a therapist, you need information to work on stuff. I've chosen not to do that with my clients. And so I explained that to her. I said, you don't have to do that with me. I have other clients where they're very guarded. I honor that. I know how to ask questions around it. I know how to get around it. And that just tells me where you're at. I don't need specific details to know what you're struggling with. I can see. And so I explained to her that with some of my other clients, I encourage them to not tell me if they're not ready. Because that's them listening to themselves. And I told her, this is my goal for all of my clients, is to help you listen to yourself, to trust yourself again, right? Because like I mentioned before, trauma is an outside force that interrupts your ability to trust yourself, to protect yourself, to listen to yourself. And so it was a wonderful conversation. I love my conversations with her. But she goes, how did it come up? Oh, because I started off with the time, and she mentioned that was something. She's like, the whole timeless thing made sense, but then every session after that, you're like, it's this time. I gotta go. It's this time. I'm like, She's pointing out things that I'm like, oh, I'm so grateful for this other set of eyes. Really, really paying attention, though. Really paying attention. And because it's helping me see things from a different perspective, right? I'm learning from her as much as she's learning from me. Oh, so she was questioning why I shared this with her. I said, well, it kind of came out in conversation, so it wasn't like it was planned. And then I said, but I know how to use it in therapy because I worked with kids for so long. Like, I know how to use games, right? Different interventions, different activities, and make it therapeutic. I said, plus, I wouldn't ask my clients to do something that I wouldn't be willing to do myself. So this element of sharing stories, I said, that's how I look at our therapeutic relationships. Just two individuals with two storylines that we're sharing, and we're helping each other through that, right? The difference, of course, being that I'm farther ahead in my storytelling. Like I'm not in it in the moment. Clearly that wouldn't be, right? I'm not in a position to help her. The storytelling are stories from my past. For her, it feels more real because she's just seeing it. And so through that process, I'm also helping her with boundaries and trying to, have these conversations to prompt a different level of awareness with how she's responding. Yeah. Do all of my clients know about the video? No, they don't. And that's what I explained to her. I said, not everyone knows, because I'm assessing, I'm seeing, and if it comes out, it comes out. A lot of my clients who know don't watch it. I know when they watch it because they tell me. And even though I share with them, this hour is for you, let me honor you by still giving you this time frame. But I also know that a lot of what I'm sharing in my stories, there's questions like, what the, So I'm like, but if you have questions, I'll make the time to answer, to clarify. And most often they wait until the very end. They're like, and then the way they introduce this, I watched your video. Oh, okay, which one? This happened. I said, okay. And then they have a follow-up question. Okay. The ones who are listening, really listening, there's a shift with it. There's a shift. I see it. They see it. And they're excited about it. I can tell when people listen. I had a dream. It was an interesting dream. I didn't watch TV. I've mentioned my TV's broken. The first scene, I'm at the place where I used to meet up with this person that I had an affair with. Crossroads was the name of the exit. And I'm there, and I'm hiking up. It's on a hill, so I'm hiking up. And I'm going into this car shop. And there's a gas station in there. And it looks like almost like a Quickie Mart at the same time, but it's fancy. And I'm in the middle of trying to purchase like one of those old school like video game stuff. But it reeks of urine. And I'm like, oh no, I don't want this. And I'm putting it back. And then the next scene, I'm in the woods. And instead of a car, there's those old school, not a carriage, but it's, think Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. What is that called? With the wheelbarrow. It's a carriage. I don't know, but it's not a car, which tripped me out because I'm like, oh, I was just surrounded by a lot of cars, and now it's like this old school wagon. I'm in the middle of the forest. And then the only other difference that I noticed was in the first scene, it was all men in this car themed shop. And in the next scene, it's all women. And we're all dressed. And I'm in both scenes. But in the one with the women, I'm dressed as if like it was back in the day. In those time, like in that time frame. And, you know, we're picking up sticks and putting it on the wheelbarrow thing or carriage thing. And we're on this large stone and there's women coming to me and they're complaining. And we're being secretive, like meeting in secret almost. So there's this element of like, they're complaining to me, but we're meeting in secret. In the forest. In this time period that's completely different than this more modern type environment where men are. So I thought it was fascinating. Men, and then women, cars, communication. I don't know why I dreamt it. I don't know what connection it is. Like I couldn't emotionally connect to anything. But the thing that I woke up on my mind was this element of marriage versus agreement. Still reflecting on yesterday and the fact that, man, I made a mistake with the divorce paperwork. And that realization again of having an agreement and preferring, knowing that I don't want to get married again. I'd rather have an agreement with someone. Knowing that at any point, either one of us could change our mind. Because if you set it up in a certain way, then you're going to want to put the effort in it, right? And I was reflecting back on my marriage and thinking, how did I rationalize having an affair and not just get up and leave? And there's an element of not wanting to rock the boat, wanting to keep secrets, right? To not disturb everyone else's reality at the same time. Fear. And then it reminded me about a story that he said, and I see it quick because the battery's running out. Towards the end of our marriage, there was a moment where I was really bitter and it was coming out, and his mom saw it, and his mom told him, listen to her or she's going to leave you. You know what he said? In Spanish, pues que me deje. Let her leave me. And I remember when he told me that, we were both laughing. I was laughing because, one, I didn't think he had the balls to say that to his mom. Well, yeah, he would. He would make comments, like he would tease her all the time. But it's just like, oh snap, like you told that to your mom. And I'm laughing, not realizing that the joke's on you. The joke's on you. Joke was on me. He's that secure that he thinks I wouldn't leave. And there was a delay in me realizing it. There was a delay in me realizing, wait a minute. This joke's on me. This joke is on me. And I had a conversation with him. Once I realized it, I said, you know what? I get that it was funny. I get that I was laughing. But the reality is that I'm not happy in this marriage. That's what I told him. I'm not happy. And I have my reasons why I'm staying, is what I told him. I have my reasons. That's when I thought that I couldn't leave. That's when I thought I couldn't leave. Thinking, okay, I gotta suck it up, right? This is my reality. And then remembering, he stopped trying, right? He stopped trying after a year. And despite me having an affair, I kept trying. I kept trying. I would take information, you know, what I learned, and bring it into I would leave the affair and bring it into nothing. I was done trying. It took me 14 years, 13, 12? Wait, I don't remember how long I was married. Well, technically I'm still married. But it took me that long to realize my self-worth. It took me that long to walk away. He's a good man, he really is. I was explaining that to one of my clients. She had a question about that. I said, he's a good man, you'd like him. You can't not like him. Like that, like you meet him and you just can't get mad at him. There was a lack of effort and a lack of transparency. Definitely my part, right? His lack of effort. Hi, my name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is, great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. that really has been my goal with this process. Not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me. So